राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जना बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जना बल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So just repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyamadi Paschatya Deshatari. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, everyone. You all have been always making out your special time for this Bhagavad Gita discourse. Yes, this is the best investment, and this is the best utilization of our time. So time we utilize in Krishna consciousness, that is the only time we have saved. That is always there with us. So recitation of Bhagavad Gita or whatever we are discussing, that is purifying. Even the same words again and again we are hearing, the same philosophy, thought process, every purport. And when we go through the purport Srila Prabhupada is giving, even one purport will give us complete understanding about life. What is the purpose of life? About our true identity, everything within every purport, even many purports you will see when you go through all these shlokas. Again and again, the same thing even being repeated. We are this. We are not this body. We are soul. We are part and parcel of Krishna. We have our spiritual identity, and we are just going through through different bodies in this lifetime. This is a journey, life journey. So we are going through different bodies, like different stoppages. So this is like different bodies we are going through. We have one purpose. It's not that just going on. There's a purpose. There's a final destination we have to reach over there. Yes. And when we reach to the final destination, we feel satisfaction. We feel happiness. Like it doesn't matter how long you're traveling and whatever different places you're traveling, how beautiful that place is. But when you reach to your home, you feel some difference. You feel relaxed. So similarly, this place is not our place. We are in foreign land. We are traveling. And from time immemorial, we don't know even how long we have been traveling in this material world. So the purpose of this journey is to understand the final destination and redirect our life, or to direct into in that direction so that we can reach. So in this chapter 5, Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. So we could see how a person who is self-realized, a Krishna conscious person, what is his nature or what is his vision. So first of all, verse number 16, like what it is saying, when, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which nescience is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything, as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. So this knowledge, what we are receiving, is an enlightenment. So when knowledge is there or light is there, then there is no question of darkness. So when we are enlightened, when we know our true self, the true purpose of life, then what is mentioned, when one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuse are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings. So knowledge means when we know our true relationship with Krishna, means we are taking shelter of Krishna. That is knowledge. We are taking shelter of Krishna. And in that case, all the misgivings or the impurities of the heart will go away and proceed straight on the path of liberation. And then we proceed towards the final destination, or liberation from this material world. We go to home, back to Godhead. So a person one who is self-realized, we could see one quality, that is verse number 18 we discussed, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Vai Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Chopakecha Pandita Samadarshina. What is the quality of a person who is self-realized or in Krishna consciousness? Equipoised, like the virtue of true knowledge. So see with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, and a dog and a dog eater. Excuse me. So this is yes. So he does not make any differences on the bodily platform. He knows that in every body there is a soul which is part and parcel of Krishna. So this is his understanding. And after this, there are some qualities which is being discussed over here. A person who is self-realized, what are the qualities? What are the symptoms? Like in chapter 2 also we could discuss this. So those whose minds are established in sameness and equanimity have already conquered the conditions of birth and death. They are flawless like Brahman, and thus they are already situated in Brahman. Actually, this is in relation to the previous shloka. Like equipoised, somebody who is free from dualities, or he does not discriminate based on bodily platform. He sees soul in everyone's heart or in every body. So that person is already liberated. Means this situation of equanimity, it means the person is liberated from the dualities of life. Like in material world we see dualities, happiness, distress, profit, loss. This is called duality. But the person who is in knowledge, he is free from this duality. He is liberated. Happiness, distress, in both situations he is going to be same. Right? So this is very advanced stage. A person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant, yes, nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, who is unbewildered, and who knows the science of God, is already situated in transcendence. So these are the symptoms of a person who is on transcendental platform. Not happy. Not happy means when something pleasant is there, then not very much excited with that. Excitement means not getting deviated from his path. He knows his goal and he is not getting deviated from there. And even not being so much lamenting or being disturbed in adverse situation, right? So unbewildered, and he knows the science of God. Yes. So these are the qualities of self-realized person. Such a liberated person is not attached to the material sense pleasure, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. Yes, what is the quality? Liberated person, not attached to material sense pleasure, always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. And where we are looking for pleasure? Our outside. That's why I mentioned the topic journey within. Because we are just looking for this pleasure, happiness, peace, satisfaction externally. Means outside we are exploring. But the transcendental or the liberated souls, they do not look for pleasure outside. They explore within, because they know that That pleasure, that happiness is not outside. Why? Krishna will speak about it. Huh? So, like one prominent, very prominent acharya, especially Sri Yamunacharya, what he is speaking about, a great devotee of devotee in Krishna consciousness. What is his opinion, especially when it comes to material enjoyment, sense gratification, material pleasure, happiness? So, like different ways are there to enjoy or to, when different senses are there, and we try to satisfy those senses through different objects, right? And it is mentioned that when it comes to material enjoyment, uh, you know, what Prabhupada is writing, the Sripad Yamunacharya, let's hear. Since I have been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasure in Him, whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit at the thought and my lips curl with distaste. A person in Brahma Yoga or Krishna consciousness is so absorbed in the loving service of the Lord that he loses his taste for material sense pleasure altogether. The highest pleasure in terms of matter is sex pleasure. So when it comes to material world, material enjoyment, so this is the grossest, the or we can say the topmost pleasure in material world, topmost motivation to do anything, that is sex pleasure. The whole world is moving under its spell, and materialist cannot work at all without this motivation. But a person engaged in Krishna consciousness can work with greater vigor without sex pleasure, which he avoids. The point over here is because sense gratification is the driving force in this material world. But because devotees are getting higher taste, they are absorbed in Krishna consciousness, they are on transcendental platform, right? And that's why they lose the taste of this material, or the what we say material happiness, material pleasure, right? And of course, until we have that taste, that higher taste, we may not understand, because at material platform, uh, what means this is what the sense gratification is the topmost goal of life. That is the yardsticks, for success. How much, as much you enjoy, as much material enjoyment or sense gratification you do, that much you feel that you're that much happy or you are successful. But what Krishna is saying about this material sense gratification, all means, would you like to hear what Krishna is saying? What this material sense enjoyment is? Next shloka is saying, ye hi samsparshaja bhoga dukhayonaya evate adyantavanta kaunteya nate shuramate buddha. Please, let's try to understand. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Very strong statement, huh? Means what we know, Krishna is speaking totally against that, totally opposite. Our understanding is why we are working hard, why we are accumulating or trying to get so many facilities. What is the purpose behind that? So that we can enjoy our senses. Enjoying senses means like eyes, they want to see something, something beautiful. So seeing, going to the scenic place and seeing those places, or ears, they want to hear, tongue, taste, right? Nose, smell. So these are like sense and sense objects are there. When senses comes in contact with the sense object, we feel some kind of pleasure, isn't it? We get some kind of enjoyment. And that is what we are trying to satisfy our senses. But Krishna here is saying that the sense pleasure is source of misery. How to understand it? Source of misery. And he's saying an intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery. So the sense gratification is the source of misery, he is saying. Such pleasures have a beginning and an end. This is the nature of material happiness. A beginning and end. Maybe we may feel some pleasure, but this is not long lasting. This is not permanent. This is temporary. That will end. And the wise man does not delight in them. So anything in material world, even whatever that is appearing as source of happiness, actually that is not source of happiness. That is preparation for suffering. What Prabhupada is writing in this, material sense pleasure are due to the contact of the material senses, which are all temporary because the body itself is temporary. A liberated soul is not interested in anything which is temporary. Knowing well the joys of transcendental pleasures, how can a liberated soul agree to enjoy false pleasure? Yes. In the Padma Purana, it is said, the mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasures from the absolute truth, and therefore the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is also known as Ram. So in Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, so this is another quotation from Srimad Bhagavatam. So first of all it is mentioned that liberated souls, they enjoy at transcendental platform, and that's why they don't take part into material enjoyment, because when we know that when we experience higher taste, then automatically we will understand, uh, we will automatically develop kind of detachment from this material enjoyment, because right now we don't have that kind of that taste, and that's why. Otherwise, simply we can see how come these big yogis or the people, what kind of enjoyment they are getting. They left everything behind, and how they are satisfied, how they are peaceful, happy. What is the reason behind? Are they getting something? They must be getting something, right? Without getting higher taste, we cannot lose, or we cannot give up lower taste. That is the criteria. So they must be getting something. Otherwise, big personalities teaching us that we should develop transcendental, that taste, or we should try to seek enjoyment on transcendental platform. Why? Because we are transcendental. We are transcendental. The soul is transcendental, not of this material world. Out of illusion, soul, which is a spiritual, just trying to enjoy with senses. And that is not going to satisfy at any cost, because uh, a spiritual being, soul is a spiritual being, and that need a spiritual connect to enjoy transcendental bliss. Material can never be, because there's a conflict, right? Spiritual and material, totally opposite. So material can never satisfy spiritual. Spiritual will only be satisfied, spiritual well-being be only satisfied when it comes in contact with supreme spiritual being. That is called transcendental platform. And here in Srimad Bhagavatam, Rishabh Dev, who is the incarnation of God himself, a king, what he is teaching us, he is teaching to his 100 sons, my dear sons, there is no reason to labor very hard for sense pleasure while in this human form of life. Especially in this human form of life, just working hard for sense pleasure, that is not uh, right, that is not recommended. Yes, because in all other living and all other bodies, apart from this human form of body, all the living entities, they are simply engaged in sense gratification. The only purpose is to maintain the body and enjoy the senses. That is the only purpose in all bodies. But especially when it comes to human form of life, then it is recommended what Rishabh Dev is saying, that it is not meant for that. That is not the goal of life. He's saying such pleasures are available to the stool eaters. Stool eaters means hogs. Rather, you should undergo penances in this life by which your existence will be purified. So, what is the purpose of life? Yes, he's saying you should undergo penances. Tapo divyam putraka yena sattvam, he is teaching. He is teaching to his 100 sons that you should go through penances, austerities, or tapasya. That is called. And for what? What is the purpose of tapasya? Why we are doing all these classes? Why we are uh, investing our time, energy, everything? What is the purpose? Purification. This is austerity. Yes, taking out time and attending Bhagavad Gita classes. This is austerity. Chanting the holy name. This is austerity. And the purpose is purifying ourselves. And as a result, you will be able to enjoy unlimited transcendental bliss. So without sacrifice, without austerity, we cannot achieve that. So this austerity, and we should know that why we are doing this austerity and the purpose. So when we are on transcendental platform, then we enjoy unlimited transcendental bliss. So this is what yogis or the person who is self-realized, they are getting this transcendental bliss, and that's why they are free from all those different attachments to the material sense enjoyment. They are free from that. And like Krishna is saying that this is source of suffering. How many of you have experienced that material happiness is a source of suffering? Krishna is saying wrong. What is it? Is it right what Krishna is saying? Material pleasure is a source of suffering. How to understand it? There is a beginning, there is an end. There is a beginning, there is an end.
Suppose it's a Sunday, he has taken his family for a movie or something.
Yes.
उससे बच्चे भी खुश हैं, पेरेंट्स को भी लेके और या साथ में डिस्कोर्स चल रहा है. बट उन सबकी खुशी के लिए उधर भी we are not yogis, तो कभी-कभी तो बीच में कुछ तो और.
Very good.
It's just we are not doing Hare Krishna all the time.
No. That's good.
We need something else.
Yes, we need. Yes. What we are trying to understand, it's not that Krishna consciousness does not mean that you are reading Bhagavad Gita whole day, or like Arjuna was Krishna conscious, right? In battlefield, he was fighting. He was not chanting the name. He was doing his duty. What we are trying to do that sense gratification and transcendental platform. What is the difference between that? What is the difference we have to understand? Simple difference. And again we keep on discussing about, repeating about sense gratification. If you see devotees, are they not eating? Are they not seeing something beautiful? Are they not hearing? They're doing the same thing. They're also doing the same thing. The only thing is, what is the intention behind that? So, transcendental platform, or that is called samadhi. Samadhi means a person who is totally absorbed in Krishna consciousness, or totally absorbed. Like he knows, he is aware of his identity, that he is soul, and he is part and parcel of Krishna, and his satisfaction or his purpose of life is to please Krishna, to satisfy Krishna. So, whatever is favorable to maintain this consciousness, he is engaged in that kind of activity. And whatever is not favorable, he try to avoid those activities. So like going out, let's say, for example, going for some outing, going to some beautiful places with family members, right? So one is for personal sense gratification. I think let me make it more easier, because it is something, so when we go to Vrindavan, that is understood. If we are going for Krishna, right?
Another thing. Suppose we are going to Vrindavan in a bus. I just saw that clip.
Yes.
And everybody was like, when we were younger, so whenever school or college trip, so मूवी सॉन्ग भी चलते थे और व्हाटएवर। यहाँ पे सिर्फ हरे कृष्णा का म्यूजिक होता है। सो आई डोंट नो, एट दिस स्टेज आई एम नॉट अ योगी, आई वुड एंजॉय सम अदर songs as well.
Yes.
I would just not enjoy the entire going and coming, just one kind of at least I can say that for myself right now. I'm not that.
You got your point. Yeah. Why we do that? That's what we are trying to understand, because this is very. This is the foundation. If we understand this, not Krishna consciousness is not stopping you from enjoyment, because that is our natural propensity. That is the soul's natural propensity. Sat, Chit, Anand. Bliss is always there, and that's why we are searching after, or we are looking for bliss. We are looking for happiness, because that is very much natural. The only thing is what we are trying to improve, or what we are trying to change, that enjoying independently away from Krishna, that is called materialistic approach. This is the only difference. Materialistic people, or you can say self-realized people, they both want enjoyment, but one enjoyment is without Krishna and one is with Krishna. So what is the difference between these two kinds of enjoyment? So one, when it is without Krishna, means that is self-centered. I am the master, I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. So this mentality is with materialistic people, not accepting God. But devotees, they also enjoy, but they know, right, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the master, He is the enjoyer. I'm just an instrument. And my duty, my service is to give enjoyment to Krishna. I'm part and parcel of Krishna, just like this hand is part and parcel of this body. So this body, the duty of this hand is to satisfy the body, right? The duty of this hand is to put the food into the mouth, so that the whole body will get nourished, and hand will also will get nourished, right? But if this hand strike, or if this hand just out of egoistic challenging attitude says that no, now onwards I will not feed to the, no, I will not put this food into the mouth, I will enjoy independently, separately, this hand, what will happen? What will happen then? No, if the hand is not going to put the food into the mouth, will it survive? Will become weaker. So Krishna consciousness is not stopping us to enjoy, only redirecting it, only changing the process or the consciousness behind it. How to enjoy, so that that enjoyment is natural, and that enjoyment will become a source of liberation, or that will become the cause of liberation from this conditioning in this material world. So we are also enjoying even much better enjoyment. What Krishna is saying, this is unlimited transcendental bliss. So that enjoyment, when we are enjoying with Krishna, that enjoyment is transcendental bliss. So when it comes to practical, like you said, okay, going to Vrindavan, singing, dancing, feasting.
Singing, I mean, you can, instead of singing,
I'm just coming to the same point. Coming to the same point.
You can sing something else, and you can collect the higher whatever.
Yes. So that's what I said, because see, whatever you do, whatever you think, whatever you feel, right, that gives an impression, or that shape your consciousness, what you exactly think. So why, when one day we are spending, when we know that we have to revive our consciousness, because right now our consciousness is materialistic, is contaminated with material desire. Material desire means desire which is away from Krishna. Somehow we are contaminated, and this contamination is not only of this life. From time immemorial, so many lifetimes, we have been living life away from Krishna. And this one opportunity, like here it is mentioned, this one human form of life we have got. So because the conditioning is so strong, that when we got this knowledge, and we are trying our best that as much possible we should directly engage ourselves in Krishna consciousness, Every day we are hearing, seeing so many things here and there. If one day we are going for yatra, so we try our best that at least that one day, try to be absorbed. Anything, not only Hare Krishna Mahamantra, because why we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra? Because we know that this is Yuga Dharma. This chanting the holy name initially, because of conditioning, we are not able to vibrate those names. But we have seen so many personalities simply by chanting the holy name, the whole existence transformed. Even we see like Ramayan, Valmiki Muni, he was just a dacoit in his previous earlier life. And simply Narad Muni instructed him, chant this name, Ram. And he was not able to pronounce that. He said, I cannot chant this name because he was so much sinful that because anybody able to chant this name means has done lots of pious work in previous life. It's not everybody cannot chant this. And he was so sinful that he could not chant the name of Lord Ram. The Narad Muni expertly, he's an expert teacher. He said, okay, you cannot chant Ram, better you chant Mara. And he started chanting Mara Mara. And that same Ratnakar, who was a dacoit, he became Valmiki Muni. Everything was manifested, revealed. Before Ram Leela, he just compiled the whole Ramayana. Why we say chanting? Because this chanting will purify our consciousness. This chanting will, whatever we are studying over here, we know that we are soul, but still we are not at realized stage. Theoretically, we know that we are soul, we are not this body. Because when we are realized, whatever different symptoms we are reading over here, that symptoms will manifest. All these equipoised, not disturbed, away from duality, all these qualities will manifest automatically, naturally. So directly engaging in Krishna consciousness, the purpose is so that at least as much time we have, in that time, we can revive ourselves, we can purify our consciousness. Yes, when it comes to practical application, especially as you are saying that, okay, because we want to enjoy going outing, going outside with family or going for something, that we have to do. That Krishna consciousness is not stopping that, but we have to simply change our consciousness behind. So, like devotees also go for outing, they also go for so many places and everything. The only thing is we are changing the consciousness, and anything and everything, whatever is helping us to revive that consciousness, that we are trying.
Even Krishna doesn't say that you chant my name all the time. So I remember that story which you had told about Narad Muni and the farmer, and who's the bigger devotee. And Krishna said that it's actually the farmer because even besides being busy in his daily chores, etc., he still remembers to chant my name. He will be chanting it just once or twice. I think,
Again, all these different stories, because we have to understand one thing. Because sometimes people use the same story for a different purpose, right? Like this story, people who are totally absorbed in different activities, they will say that, okay, if I'm working hard, then like karma hi puja, so I'm worshipping. So again, these are very subtle matters we need to understand. Krishna is not, the whole chapter is karma yoga. Krishna is inducing Arjuna to work. Krishna is not asking to stop his activities. Krishna is only asking or suggesting him to change the consciousness or the intention behind that activity. And that is what we are learning. We are not going to stop activities. Only we are going to transform the form that or the change the consciousness behind that. And then when you are clear with this understanding or this purpose that I have to revive my consciousness, make it Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means that I should always remember my true identity, and I should always do whatever I'm doing. I should always feel. I should always keep Krishna in center. Many times, like we discuss about, even going outing, going outside, that is fine. Krishna has given, again, just to make it more easier. So at the platform of soul, we are always absorbed in Krishna consciousness, a person who is on self-realized. But because we are in this material world, we have this body. We are not saying that you don't have to your duties towards your body, or you don't have to fulfill the needs of your body. Even in previous shlokas, we were reading about Shariram Kevalam Karma. We have to do, we have to maintain this body, right? We have to utilize this body. So utilizing this body in such a way so that we can develop this consciousness that I'm part and parcel of Krishna, and my only purpose is to please Krishna. And by pleasing Krishna, and this will not happen overnight, because gradually, that's why we are regularly hearing, regularly engaging ourselves in devotional service, so that we can revive that consciousness. Why we are doing this? Also, we will understand. Rishabdev, who is instructing his 100 sons that this human form of life is meant for tapasya, tapodivyam. Why? So that we can purify our consciousness. Purifying consciousness means material desire, we have to transform it into a spiritual desire, or the desire or the will of Krishna. We have to simply dovetail our will to the will of Krishna. So even his son, the eldest son, you know the name of his? Bharat Maharaj. The Rishabdev's eldest son, he was Bharat Maharaj. Let's discuss this story also. You will understand it maybe more easily. So Bharat Maharaj, after doing all his responsibility, he was king, just like his father. At the end of, he left everything and he went for self-realization. It's not that immediately he did all his responsibility, and for higher purpose, he left everything. And similarly, his son, Bharat Maharaj, he also, at the end of his life, means he decided for higher elevation, he developed detachment. He just gave responsibility to his other son, and he went to the jungle, and he was doing all these devotional practices. And while doing devotional practices at one place, means he was in a small ashram wherein he was individually, independently, no association was there. He was doing this practice. And one day, one lion chasing a deer, a pregnant deer, yes, and Bharat Maharaj could see that, and just out of compassion, he tried to protect that deer. Somehow he could not save the mother, but the child was saved. The deer, baby deer child. It was, and he started just taking care of that baby deer, and always thinking, absorbed in thinking of that baby deer, always just to feed him. And wherever he was going, just like a baby, like when we have any pet, then we develop that kind of attraction or attachment or love, affection. That is very natural. So Bharat Maharaj also, he got so much absorbed in taking care of that baby deer. You just imagine the person who left everything, the whole kingdom, and he is here for self-realization, right? He is practicing different yoga practices, and just he got attached to a small baby deer, and the attachment was in such a great level that he was always thinking, instead of thinking of Krishna, he started thinking of that deer. And like Krishna says that when you leave this body, and whatever is your consciousness, you get that kind of body. So he was so much absorbed in that deer that, and eventually, because he left his body, and the next body he received, he got the next body. Next body he got a deer. So this story means we are talking about Bharat Maharaj, who was very exalted personality at very advanced stage. Like in devotion also, there are different stages. Shraddha, sadhu sang, bhajan kriya, anartha nivritti. Anartha nivritti means totally free from all contaminations. He was a self-realized person. Nishtha, ruchi, asakti, bhava, that was the stage. And the last stage is prema. He was on that stage. And just a small attachment to a deer, he lost that opportunity. And next body he got of a deer. And now just imagine about our life. How much material attachment do we have? So many attractions, so many attachment. Yes? So how much practice we need to do to revive our consciousness? We need lots of effort. How much time we are giving, how much energy we are giving into Krishna consciousness to revive, because that is the process. If we are not able to revive our consciousness in this lifetime, then based on our consciousness at the time of death, we are going to get a new body. That is for sure. Of course, when we get human body, that is good. We are getting a chance. But if we lose this opportunity, human body, then what? Then we have to go through the cycle. 84 lakh species. We do not know when we will get this opportunity back. And you know what happened with Bharat Maharaj? Because he was such a exalted personality and he did so much of practice, so much devotion was there, that fortunately, like Krishna is promising that, even though he was in a deer body, but he was aware of his previous life. And he was not an ordinary deer. No? In that life, near an ashram where all the sadhus and yogis were there, and they were doing discourses, like discourses on self-realization, on God, Krishna Katha. So that deer always, in that association, he was always hearing Krishna Katha. Yes. And what was the result of that? In next life, again, he got a human form of life. And his name was Jad Bharat. You know why Jad Bharat? What is Jad? Jad. It's just like a stone. No reaction at all. No response at all. He was behaving like a mad person. He took birth in a Brahmin family, and his father and other sons, they were very intelligent. And all other sons, his brothers, they were very intelligent. They were engaged in so many activities. But Jad Bharat, he was so deaf, so dumb. He was not dumb exactly, but he was acting like that. Jad Buddhi, huh? He was just like a madman. Whatever his father was teaching him to do, he was doing everything just opposite to that. His father, like for example, he was teaching that when you should wash your hand when you, after passing a stool, or when you come out, you should wash your hand. And he used to do just opposite. First he used to wash his hand, and then, so like that, everything.
What was his fault in the previous birth?
Sorry?
Why was he?
We will discuss about it. I mean, this is, again, this is extreme example. We cannot copy it, we cannot imitate. We are just trying to understand, though he was very exalted personality, because all these devotees, when we see something happening in their life, that is for teaching purpose. That is just to set some example. That just a small attachment, just a small attachment can lead one to this kind of situation. So what about us? So the point here is that we have to lead life in such a way so that we can always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. Because the moment we forget Krishna, then Maya, the external energy of Krishna, is always there to capture. The moment you get away from Krishna, then you will get so many attractions which will drag you into this pool of material world. And this material world is a place of suffering. And our effort, whatever we are trying to do, that we want to get out of this, right? Why we are not having that intense desire to get out of this material world? Because our life is very comfortable. And not comfortable, but it is called conditioning. Conditioning means whichever life. It's not that only we. Anybody and everybody in this material world, whichever situation they are in, this is the illusory energy of Krishna, Maya Shakti. The person will feel blessed or he is happy in that situation. Many practical examples are there. And even one example I just, anyway, but we all know this is what conditioning.
Satsang is so important.
So reviving, satsang means coming together, understanding our true nature, understanding where we belong to, and how we can go back to home, back to Godhead. That is the purpose. And again, sometimes even what we discuss, every time we are discussing the same topic. Why? It may look like, okay, going to the Bhagavad Gita class means we are going to hear about all these things, Moha Maya, huh? But why we are hearing this? Because when you hear something repetitively, then at least you develop some interest for that, right? And will put some effort for this. We are not stopping from enjoyment. Krishna is not stopping from enjoyment. Only he is changing the process. He is changing the consciousness behind that. Because as long as we have this desire independently, individually to enjoy separate from Krishna, that enjoyment is the root cause of suffering. That is what Krishna is saying. When you are away from Krishna, when you are away from a spiritual kingdom, when you are in this material world, everyone is bound to suffer. That suffering may be different, or different levels may be there, but everybody is bound to suffer. You cannot see anybody in this world who is not suffering, right? And that is what Krishna is making us aware, and he is giving us ways how we can go, how we can get out of this suffering. So not only when you leave this body and you go to a spiritual kingdom, then only you will be happy. Krishna is teaching us ways so that we can raise ourselves on transcendental platform. From material consciousness to transcendental consciousness. What is the difference? Material consciousness, the same, I and mine. And this attitude will never make us happy. Because whatever you are desiring, that is not going to be fulfilled every time. You will be frustrated. So many people, they are trying their own ways, different ways to make this world a happy place. Now, all these scientists, all these different developments, what is the reason why people are putting so much of effort just to make this world a better place? But you see what is happening. Huh? in, in spite of all these big development, advancement, technological advancement, economical development, so much of facilities, are we able to solve the problem? Is it solving the problem? Increasing more. The more you try to, I'm not saying that we don't have to try to solve the problem. That is human. We have to solve the problem, but we have to use our intelligence that in spite of doing so much, the problem we are trying to solve, that problem instead of that is increasing day by day. So many divorce cases, so many criminal activities, so many, you see the uh, country to country, means nation, every nation just fighting, societies, caste, color, creed, means you all know about it. You see that, and this is not new. The whole history is full of conflict, from individual to family to society to nation. Everywhere you see conflict. Srila Prabhupada used to say that when I came to America, I thought, no, he is aware of, he knows the reality. But most of the people, they have this understanding, okay, if you go to foreign land, America or UK, that there's no suffering. Everybody is so happy over there. And Prabhupada said, when I came here, I could see so many people on the street. Yes. So intelligence means we have to see that the way everybody is going, are they really getting to their destination? Are they really achieving what they want? If that is not there, it means something is wrong in that process. Something is wrong. So we need to take a pause. We need to understand where I can get that pleasure, where I can get that happiness, that satisfaction, that peace, or what is the root cause of that suffering. So Krishna is saying that root cause of suffering is this material consciousness, I and mine. People are fighting just because they think I am this body, this is my country, this is my caste, this is my color. So I and mine consciousness. And people are fighting. Just like you see dogs. If any other dog coming to territory, they will start barking. No, how can you come to this place? This is my place. So I and mine mentality is like dog's mentality. And Srila Prabhupada say that if you keep a pack of dogs in a room, do you think there will be peace? Is there any chance? No. So without changing consciousness, there is no peace. Doesn't matter how many, all these countries, they are talking about unity, different, Prabhupada, very clear. He said, only the flags, number of flags are increasing, and only the flags are coming together. But the nations, they are fighting. Just good words, loving words are there, because consciousness is not pure. And if you go through the history, you will see even countries, they are fighting from another other country. And once the war is over, the same people within country, civil war, they're fighting. Society, family, I mean, it's a very detailed subject matter, but you just introspection. This is called introspection. When you just see what is happening with this consciousness, and that's why we are trying to revive that consciousness. So Krishna consciousness means then we are all part and parcel of God. He is supreme. And when we take shelter of Krishna, Krishna is our Father. He will take care of us in all situations. So we will become peaceful. And that is what Krishna is going to teach here. So quickly. So he is saying that we should, first of all, he is informing that we should avoid sense gratification. And again, many times we have discussed that sense enjoyment in Krishna consciousness, that is already there. Eating, sleeping, I mean, all these different activities, even a devotee is doing. The difference is the approach which devotee is taking, a Krishna conscious person is taking, the approach, that approach is helping to advance. That is a simple sentence I'll use. One way which is degrading your consciousness, which is polluting your consciousness, and the another way, that is Krishna conscious way, which is purifying your consciousness. And that is the purpose of our life. Now I'll coming to the one, like we example said, like chanting the holy name, or maybe any bhajan, or any movie song. What is the difference between these two? Any movie song, Bollywood song, and singing a bhajan or kirtan. What is the difference? Yes, mine.
Generally, I'm just talking about personal point of view. Like in the morning, if you wake up, you don't want to play some movie song, you want to listen to something like a Krishna song
Yes.
or a Krishna flute song or instrumental or anything like that, because your mind is in a more peaceful state after chanting everything. So
Yes.
the vibration
It's
of
the
the
vibration.
Vibration, peace. Yes.
No, but just for, to break the monotony. I'm not saying
Yes.
you might be a person might be Krishna conscious, but just the entire, I'm saying the entire day, or to break the monotony, you might listen to
Yes,
something else,
yes.
and that you can also connect to the higher self with those.
And now Krishna is just going to speak about this. What he's saying? That we now what he's saying? First of all, he said we should tolerate sense gratification. Now, just he is giving answer to your question. How long we should tolerate? This question is there, right? How long we should tolerate, or how long we should avoid this material sense enjoyment? Can we do that? This is very natural, no? Okay, I'm engaged in Krishna consciousness for so long. Let me. Okay, I did so much for Krishna. I should. This Maya will come and trick you like this. Okay, you did so much for Krishna. You're always absorbed in Krishna consciousness. Make out some time for you. Why don't you? Sometimes devotees, like in devotional, you will see this kind of things will happen. Okay, sometimes I can lead my own way or away from Krishna. I can enjoy something. What is wrong in it? And what Krishna is saying, before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is well situated and happy in this world. Till what? Till when he is saying? Before giving up this present body. So we have to tolerate till death. What Prabhupada, if one wants to make a steady progress on the path of self-realization, he must try to control the forces of material senses. There are the forces of talk, forces of anger, forces of mind, forces of stomach, forces of genitals, and forces of tongue. Vacho vegam manasa, jiva vegam, udaro upastha vegam. So these are the different kinds of urges, demands. Vacho vegam. Vacho vegam means this urge to speak, speech, manasa vegam, the mind, demands of mind, jiva vegam. Jiva vegam is the vacho vegam and jiva vegam, urge of tongue. What is the urge of tongue? Taste, or demanding so many tastes, or there's that. So one has to control the demands of tongue. It's not that we don't have to feed, but we have to see what to eat, what not to eat. This is called controlling the senses. In Krishna consciousness, we are not asking to stop eating. We are not asking to stop speaking, but what to speak. How to control the urge of tongue or urge to speak. What is urge to speak? How we can control it? One way is to stop speaking. Can we do that? That is wrong. Krishna is not suggesting that. But what he is saying is speak, use this tongue or use this mouth in Krishna conscious way. Krishna conscious way means good words, beneficial to others, sensitive talks, Krishna conscious talks. Then you can speak whole day. That is controlling the speech. Many people do not have this understanding. They think that controlling their speech means just be, what do you call it? Don't speak anything. And many people, they become very much impressed with this kind of personality. Okay, he never speaks. And Prabhupada gave example that anybody you can identify when he speaks. What he speaks, based on that you can identify the character, the person. So speak is very, very, shows the personality. So here, when it comes to controlling the urge to speak, means not speaking prajalpa. Prajalpa means nonsense talks. Nonsense talks means which is simply here and there, like news as we see so many things. And whenever I give some example, I'm not criticizing, but what I'm trying to make you understand that in news channels, what do you see? That is important. There are important news, but most of the time, these people, they are just criticizing each other. No? So prajalpa means which is simply degrading your consciousness, such kind of talks, simply wasting your time. So Krishna is asking to speak, but speak something which is helping you to advance, which is helping you and helping others, right? So the forces of a stomach. Forces of a stomach means again, we have to eat, but what to eat? Like we eat Krishna prasadam. Yes, sattvic food. And that too not only sattvic, but offer to Krishna. That is prasadam. There's a huge difference. Yes, of course. Of course. No, not once in a while. Every day you can eat. The only condition is because that is sattvic. That is again when we go deeper into it. Of course, there is mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. These are things are there. But when we say prasadam, that is beyond three modes. Sattvic food, when it is offered to Krishna, it is transcendental. It is not into any modes. So when we eat, even you prepare good golgappe, tikki, everything, and offer it to Krishna, and take it as prasadam. In Krishna consciousness, you will enjoy more. That is what the point we are trying to understand. At transcendental platform, you will enjoy more. See, you come to any of the festival, you see hundreds and thousands of varieties being offered to Krishna. Pizza and everything, whatever you want, burger, pizza, everything is there. So we can take that. Yes, whatever you like, yes. Because initially we are not up to that level that, okay, what Krishna likes, we will prepare. Even devotees practicing for so many years, even when we cook, the consciousness should be, okay, let me cook something for Krishna today, whatever he likes. But sometimes even we desire, okay, today I want to eat this. Let's cook that also. But offer it to Krishna and take it. That is the controlling the urge of stomach. And simply by doing this practice, this is austerity. This is very simple to understand. Materialistic people, they will not at all bother about Krishna. Whatever they are getting, they will simply eat without any grateful attitude. But the devotees, you see, they offer it to Krishna, and before eating, a big prayer, that consciousness, That my Lord, by your mercy, I'm getting this. This is your mercy. Prasad means mercy. You have given this. And if you go to the meaning of the mantra we recite, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the mantra, prayer mantra before eating prasadam, this one activity will help you to control the mind and senses, because that is what we are trying to understand, and that is what we have to do first. If we want to advance in Krishna consciousness, we have to control these different urges. How to control? Like tongue, we can control simply engaging this tongue in service of Krishna. How we can engage? Taking prasadam and chanting the holy name. Initially, it will be mechanical. You may not feel that, you may not experience that. But I'm telling you again and again that simply make it mechanical. Keep on chanting. Like you go to any of the yoga practice or any of the maybe gym or somewhere, you start weightlifting. So initially, you take a small weight, right? And once you are using that weight or lifting that weight, after some time, do you feel any struggle? Initially, any small weight, you feel a struggle in that. But once you are in practice of using or lifting that weight, it becomes very normal and you want more heavier weight, right? So simply, because our tongue is not in practice of chanting the holy name, so we have to make a deliberate effort to chant. Don't think what is happening, what is my mind is flickering here and there. Don't at all bother about it. Just make it a practice of chanting with some vow, sankalpa, that okay, let me chant this many round today for his pleasure. And chant it. And eventually, gradually, you will see your tongue will become so much comfortable. And when you are absorbed in process, you will see even if you don't speak, the chanting will go within. That is advanced stage. Chanting will go within. And we all have seen, when you are in this practice, I remember, means before Krishna consciousness, you see, when something happened, whatever you have practiced, that will come out of your mouth. Oh shit, or this, that, so many things, huh? Like this. But now, even without any effort, Hari Bol, Hare Krishna, why this is happening? It's practice. So if we practice, even at the time of death, if we are sincerely putting effort, even if we are not able to control mind and senses, just deliberately, just do this activity and you will see transformation at the end. You will see the transformation. Automatically that will happen. Yes. So what he's saying, so before giving up this present body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire. Check the force of desire means redirecting desire. We cannot stop desire. Desire is there always. But simply we are redirecting. We are redirecting it towards Krishna. That's whole soul. A center of life is Krishna. And anger. Desire and anger. So anger, we know how come we become angry. Because desire is not fulfilled, then we become angry. We become envious. So he is well situated and is happy in this world. So material desires, when unsatiated, generate anger, and thus the mind, eyes, and chest become agitated. Therefore, one must practice to control them before one gives up this material body. One who can do this is understood to be self-realized and is thus happy in the state of self-realization. It is the duty of the transcendentalist to try strenuously to control desire and anger, because we are going on this path. So we have to deliberately try our best so that as much we can engage in Krishna, in this consciousness or devotional practices, devotional services. So that will help us to liberate from this. Okay, I had planned to cover all these slokas, but I think anyway, yes, will. So last sloka 24 we can take. So one whose happiness is within. Yo antar sukho antar jyotirevaya sa yogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhuto adhigachati. So one whose happiness is within, who is active and rejoices within, and whose aim is inward and is actually the perfect mystic. We all have to become a perfect mystic, yogi. Yogi does not mean some external change. Whatever you are doing, you do that. We are all in different, have different responsibilities. When Krishna is saying yogi bhava, it does not mean that you have to give up your responsibilities and just change your dress and you have to become a yogi. No, he is asking us to change the consciousness, monk life, or how there are a few books also. No? Think like a monk. The monk who think like a monk, the monk who sold his Ferrari. All these books, if you go through this, they will just simply ask about this consciousness. You have to. All have to develop this consciousness of a monk. A monk is not attached with material success, failure. He is always absorbed. He is always in transcendental platform. You are working, okay, go with your work. Just remember that I am working for the pleasure of Krishna. Yes.
Just one question.
Yes.
What's the difference between control and separation?
Control and separation means separation. One is rejecting. We are not rejecting. Control, okay, suppression. Yes, very good point. This is very important to understand. Suppression is rejecting, restraining, right? And one is control. Control means utilizing it in a proper way. This is the difference. We are learning how to control the mind and senses. So there are two approaches. One is restraining forcefully, and one is engaging that force into right, or channeling that force into right direction. So Krishna consciousness is redirecting or channeling that force into right direction. We are not stopping eating. We are not stopping speaking. We are not stopping hearing. But we have channelized it, or we have redirected towards the goal. Our goal of life is Krishna consciousness. So we are simply redirecting that. Suppression individually will not work. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya devina rasvarjam rasopasya param drashtva nivartate. This is what Krishna is teaching. Without getting higher taste, the lower taste will not go away. If we simply try to restrain or simply try to detach from something, but if we do not develop attachment for something higher, that forceful detachment will not work, because that is very powerful, and we will fall down. Not only about us, even we heard the story of Bharat Maharaj. Yes, he got deviated. Vishwamitra Muni, Saubhari Muni, all these different big personalities, mystic yogis, they did so much austerity just to control their mind. And which way of controlling? Suppressing. I will not do this. I will not do this. I will not do this. And all of a sudden, because of the time, place, and circumstances, some material attraction deviated. And that's why, even for us, the next chapter we will start, because today I was planned to complete this, but anyway, next chapter is Dhyan Yoga, which is talking about all these things. That even those big personalities could not control their mind, and just because of small little flickering attraction, material desire, they got deviated. What to talk about us? And that's why for us, for the people in this age of Kali Yuga, Krishna consciousness, it is forever. It's not only in Kali Yuga, but especially for people like us, Krishna consciousness is the best approach to control the mind and senses. And very easy. You will see big personalities, they fell down, but devotees, we will discuss in our next further classes, but devotees very easily can control mind and senses. We have to learn this art of simply engaging. When you start having darshan of the beautiful face of the Lord with these eyes, this will, you will develop whatever we see like in material world, we think that is beautiful. You will automatically develop a distaste from there. Don't fear about it, don't be fearful about it, because again and again I see that when it comes to material detachment, we become fearful. What will happen of our life? No, we are going to get higher taste. We are leading a life for higher purpose, right? and this higher taste automatically. So one detachment and one attachment. This is Krishna consciousness. From one place we are developing detachment and we are developing our attachment to Krishna. Is it clear? And even you don't bother about detachment. The process is just develop attachment to Krishna and Krishna will take care of everything. Jahan Surya Sam, wherever there is sun, there is no question of darkness. So when Krishna is there, there is no question of ignorance. Out of ignorance, out of illusion, we think that we are happy, but actually that is not the happiness, that is illusion. And Krishna is proposing us, he is giving us ways to get real happiness that is transcendental, that is everlasting. Oh, yes. Oh, hmm. So this one process, chanting the holy name, as I discussed about it, that even if we do not understand the philosophy, but this chanting should go on, and like whatever we are trying our best to regularly attend and hear, that is a great service, and Krishna definitely will bestow his mercy upon you all, because Krishna is not looking for result, even if you do not understand, but he will see your sincere desire. There's a beautiful story in South India in temple. One Brahmana, he was reading Bhagavad Gita and he was crying. And all other different Brahmanas, they were laughing at him. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reached over there, he inquired, why? What happened? No, he just approached to that particular Brahmana who was reading Bhagavad Gita. And he asked, why you're crying? And then these people are laughing at you. So you know what he said? He said, I'm an illiterate person. I don't know how to read. I don't know much about. And because when I read, because my Guru Maharaj has instructed me to read this Bhagavad Gita every day, and that's why I read. He was illiterate. He was not knowing how to read Bhagavad Gita, Sanskrit, maybe a little bit, must be knowing. And because I'm not able to pronounce this Bhagavad Gita properly, the shlokas, and that's why these people, they laugh at me. But because my Guru Maharaj has instructed me, so every day I'm doing it. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he just hold him. He just grabbed him into his arm. And he said, you are the true devotee. And then he asked, why you're crying? You do not understand, but still you're crying. He said, whenever I just pick up this Bhagavad Gita and when I see that how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, just for the pleasure of his devotee, just to fulfill the desire of his devotee, he became a chariot driver. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, just a menial service he is doing for his devotee. So I just cry, just thinking of this. No, I'm unable to stop my tears in my eyes. This is devotion. This is true understanding. So Krishna sees our effort and our mood. If we are sincerely trying, he will be happy with that. He will accept. Whether we are qualified, not qualified, simply, I am yours, my Lord. I don't know anything, but I am yours. Please accept me. He will accept. So let's have this mood and chant. Even if we are not able to chant, then also we should cry for this only, that we are not able to chant. I am not able to chant, my Lord. Without your mercy, I cannot do anything. This humility is the gateway to a spiritual kingdom. Gateway to a spiritual kingdom. Just we have to accept that only by the mercy of Krishna and his devotees, I can get out of this material suffering. No way, no other way is there. So, so let's chant with this mood. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srimad Gaur Bhaktivedanta. So every day, this is the practice we do in temple. Like every day when you wake up at home, just feel grateful for everything. Just feel grateful and just offer your obeisances unto the Lord and start your day with a very positive feeling that I'm so fortunate that today, by the mercy of Lord, I have got this life. So, and that gratitude we can offer by chanting the holy name, taking out some special time and chanting the holy name. And whenever you get time, like a small worship and reading some, maybe one shloka or any this, you can read for 5 minutes. That will raise your spiritual intelligence. And then whatever responsibilities you have, just go on with that, with the same Krishna conscious mindset. And even you achieve success or you achieve failure from material point of view, just believe in it that Krishna is my best friend. He knows past, he knows present, he knows future. From our point of view, maybe something, some loss, but we have to understand that Krishna is my best friend. Whatever he is doing for my benefit. So accepting both the situations as mercy of Krishna and just be focused on your journey towards the spiritual kingdom. Because adjustment in this material world, of course, that will go on. So always keep focused on that spiritual kingdom and that final destination. So rest everything, whatever is there, just a little bit, some tolerance, some ignore, just ignore or tolerate and go on with your journey. That is Krishna consciousness. Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladadayini Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Shrilatanka Nakalaye Ito Narsingha Parato Narsingha Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsingha Garbhir Narsingha Hridaye Narsingha Narasimhamanim Sharanam Prapade Avakar Kamalavare Nathan Adbhuta Shingha Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubhinga Eshavadrita Narhari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Nrsimhadev 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 Jai Nrsimhadev Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jai Prahlad Maharaj Jai Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada Jai Jai Gurudev 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 Jai Jai Gurudev Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radha. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladev, Jai Subhadra, Jai Gauranitai, 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 Jai Gauranitai, Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada, Jai Jai Gurudev, Gurudev. Gurudev, Jai Jai Gurudev. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you so much once again. This way, this effort. Just keep on attending sessions, understanding the message, and practicing in your regular life, and make our life successful. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Thank you.